A proposed undersea tunnel construction project known as the Bohai Strait Tunnel or the Yantai-Dalian Tunnel would link Dalian on the Liaodong Peninsula with Yantai on the Shandong Peninsula. The Bohai Strait Cross-Sea Traffic Way is the project's official name. The tunnel would be 120 kilometers or 76 miles long, would be underwater, and would cross the Bohai Strait. This would be longer than the combined length of the Seikan Tunnel and the Channel Tunnel, the two longest undersea tunnels on Earth. The tunnel will extend beneath the strait for more than 100 kilometers. The tunnel, which will be constructed and run by the China Railway Engineering Corporation, would be connected to the nation's high-speed train network. To make the 40-minute crossing, cars would be placed onto railroad cars. Currently, the Bohai Train Ferry, which was established in 2007, takes 8 hours to cross the strait. According to Chinese estimates, the project would cost 200 billion yuan, or $32 billion in total. According to a report from August 2014, the building would likely start during the 13th five-year plan and take 10 years to finish. The central government now plans to start building this bay connection as soon as possible as of March 2018. In May 2019, formal submissions for approval of the plans were made to the National Development and Reform Commission. The project would consist of 125 kilometers of the tunnel through the major Bohai Strait, followed by 125 kilometers of bridges connecting the Changshan Island from Penglai. The opening date, if construction were to begin in 2020, would be in the early 2030s. The projected spending now totals 300 billion yuan. Brief. The Bohai and Yellow Sea's border is marked by 151 islands that are arranged in a line off the coast of Penglai in the Shandong province. The so-called Changshan Archipelago is a thriving home for migrating fish, birds, and seals. It is one of 24 top contenders for the new title of National Marine Park. However, over the past 20 years, the local government has hoped to use the archipelago to create a rail tunnel beneath the Bohai Strait, connecting Yantai and Dalian, two important cities in the northeast. Travel times between the provinces of Shandong and Liaoning will be reduced from 10 hours to less than 1 when cars and foot passengers could board the trains. The tunnel's plans have reached a critical stage. Construction and cost. The Bohai Sea is largely surrounded. Only a 100-kilometer strait forms its opening, dividing Yantai and Dalian. It takes 1,500 kilometers to travel around the sea between the two metropolises. The tunnel would cut travel time to under an hour and exceed the Seikan Tunnel in Japan and the Channel Tunnel, which connects the UK with mainland Europe as the longest underground passageway in the world. According to Lu Dadao of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, China's transportation system would be transformed by a tunnel across the Bohai. It would reduce pressure on the railways between Beijing and Tianjin, Beijing and Shanghai, and even Beijing and Guangzhou by avoiding the hubs in those cities. The tunnel would also improve connections between the Yangtze Delta, the Bohai Economic Region, and the historic industrial centers in the northeast, according to Du Yan Liang of the Chinese Academy of Engineering Sciences. More than 10 years of research have been completed since Yantai's deputy mayor Liu Shenhua originally suggested the idea in 1992. The State Council requested additional study in 2011, giving the tunnel national strategic significance as part of plans for the Shandong Peninsula's blue economic growth. The Chinese Academy of Engineering Sciences was then given the mandate to conduct an investigation by the State Council in 2012. Preparatory work for the project was included in provincial plans for the 13th five-year plan, which is 2016 to 2020. The 27-year delay is because construction would be a costly, challenging, and environmentally unsafe enterprise. The Seikan and Channel Tunnel's preliminary studies took a comparable amount of time to complete. In addition to the matter of economic viability, other issues need to be resolved. Sun Jun, a member of the Chinese Academy of Engineering Sciences, estimates that the project will cost 300 billion yuan, which is 44 billion US dollars, or more than twice as much as was spent building the Three Gorges Dam, and that it will take 15 years to complete. However, some have cited the Hangzhou Bay Bridge, which ended up costing 20 billion yuan as opposed to the anticipated 11.8 billion, citing that these estimates may be on the low side. Ecology. A different greener vision exists for the Bohai Strait. Conservation has risen significantly in importance in China since Xi Jinping embraced the notion of the ecological civilization in 2012. This accelerated the creation of a national park system that was meant to expand the area of land in China that was protected and streamline the disparate previous system that was in use. The State Council authorized national park trials in 9 provinces in 2015. It published the system's overarching plans in 2017. To safeguard animal habitats and ecosystems, sizable terrestrial national parks were envisioned. In the meantime, the Changshan Archipelago was one of 20 potential locations for marine parks recognized by the State Oceanic Administration, which is now a division of the Ministry of Natural Resources. Nearly a quarter of all bird species in China go through it, making it one of the most significant migratory bird routes in the country. The government-protected spotted seal, a Class II protected species, uses it as a home and nesting place. Despite being only 56.8 square kilometers in size, the islands are now home to a maritime park, geopark, woodland park, and bird reserve. This makes them smaller than the area bounded by Beijing's Second Ring Road. According to Wang Yumei of Liaodong University, migrating birds and the spotted seal should be given special consideration in environmental impact analyses for the tunnel project. There hasn't been any research done yet on the possible effects the tunnel could have on these species. According to Sun Fenghua of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, deep research into all aspects related to the construction of the tunnel is needed. We can't move forward unless we completely comprehend these queries. Some environmental risk. A single submarine tunnel and a cross-island variant combining tunnels and bridges to span the Changshan Archipelago are the 2 construction methods that are currently preferred. Regardless of the strategy chosen, construction on the islands will be necessary because the single tunnel calls for vertical shafts to be excavated on 2 islands to assist in excavation and guarantee safety. A bigger area would be impacted by the bridges needed for the mixed approach. The environmental impact, according to Wang Yumei, would involve erecting extensive temporary infrastructure and buildings, moving machinery, and having construction personnel travel around. The ground would be disturbed by all of this. She also lists other important considerations, such as the need to store excavated soil, use the land for construction, pollution from automobiles utilizing the tunnel, as well as noise, water, and dust pollution. Even though the land has been set aside in both Yantai and Dalian for the tunnel, and the late project team leader Wang Mengshu was adamant that it should be built, many questions have been raised concerning its necessity and viability. Other factors. No comprehensive plans for the tunnels or the National Marine Park have been released as of yet. Although it has mandated research and suggestions for national park sites and their number and size, the State Council has not yet put out ideas for any particular parks, whether they be on land or in water. 10 locations are now undergoing National Park System trials before being officially nominated for National Park status in 2020. Lessons from the experiments will be used in plans for national parks on land and the sea. Before tunnel buildings can begin, there is still much to be done. Only once the overall design has been approved, only then can detailed surveys of the local geology and hydrology start. After that, feasibility and cost analyses will be conducted before the State Council gives its approval. Additionally, an environmental impact assessment will be required. In either scenario, the state has not yet fired the opening shot. Professor Wang Yamin of Shandong University believes that both the tunnel and the park are necessary, but that additional research and analysis are needed to determine whether they can coexist. He stated that the tunnel needs to be approached extremely carefully, with thorough formal analysis taking into account animals and including experts. Development is crucial despite the long-standing conflict between the environment and development. To achieve sustainable development, environmental protection is required. That's it for this one, guys. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider liking it and sharing it with someone else who might enjoy it. Subscribe to our channel for more content like this and hit that bell icon if you never want to miss another video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.